Thank you very much, Mike. Now, this week on The Big Picture, we turn our focus to Get Rich Quick schemes and seek answers to the question, can you become an overnight millionaire? Let's take a look at some of the ideas that have tantalized Kenyans over the years. And of course, top of that list are the pyramid schemes which hit the country between 2004 and 2007. There were a total of 271 pyramid schemes. Over 148,000 Kenyans invested in them. Now, a total of 8.1 billion shillings was lost through the pyramid schemes. Now, the notorious scheme was Desi, of course, which was associated with the late George Donde, with over 93,000 Kenyans investing over 2.4 billion shillings. At number 2 was Clip Investment Sacco, with over 5,800 investors who put in 1.9 billion shillings. Overall, the schemes, which gained full momentum in the lead up to the 2007 general election, ripped off Kenyans to the tune of 34 billion shillings, as I had mentioned earlier. Another popular get-rich scheme is multi-level marketing. Now, we've got to be really clear on this one. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the concept, as it deals in actual products that benefit users. But however, the perception that one can become an overnight millionaire is highly overrated, as it is premised on the volume of sales you deliver by recruiting additional customers. Now, most multi-level marketing plans offer between 25 and 50% of returns from recruited members. Now, based on that particular analogy, for one to make about 1 million shillings, you would have to sell or recruit enough people to purchase between 2 and 4 million shillings worth of products. Now, on average, each person contributes between 25,000 shillings and 100,000 shillings. This means to make 1 million shillings from 25,000 shilling investment, one would have to recruit between 80 to 150 people who would all have to purchase goods worth a total 3.8 million shillings. And for one to make 1 million shillings, that's 100,000 shilling investment, one must recruit between 20 to 40 people, with purchases amounting to 4 million shillings. Now, let's look at the next get-rich scheme, which is popular with Kenyans. Is a hot business idea. This is a rather tricky venture, as it's based on actual low-cost business concepts revolving around fast-moving commodities. Now, you will remember this. The latest craze is quail farming. Now, this particular venture was highly lucrative, with the cost of one quail egg set at over 150 shillings last year. Now, this high return sparked off an investor frenzy, with hundreds of Kenyans jumping onto the bandwagon, a factor that has driven down the cost of quail eggs from a high of 200 shillings to a low of between 10 and 15 shillings today. Now, other hot business ideas include the famous Jatropha trees, touted as the next source of biofuels to drive the motor vehicle industry. The idea gained popularity, but never really took off, leaving hundreds of investors without a market. Just to illustrate how quickly the craze can blossom, the Simu ya Jamii concept was popular between 2000 to 2007, but the high number of investors led to its collapse way before the mobile phone craze hit the local market. Now, of course, with us in the studio, we've got a great panel. And I want to ask a gentleman, Gorsa Milango, who's the chairman of the Youth Fund, as well as an entrepreneur who started a garage one day that does not exist anymore. Do you want to tell us that story?
Yes, I did. There's nothing like an overnight millionaire. It's all monkey business, you know. But I started a garage which went down, and a car wash which went down. And they say an entrepreneurship success is like a moving target. You never know when you hit the target. You could hit it when you're 20, 25, 30, 40, or 70. So basically, this marriage of get rich quick doesn't work. It's basically a monkey business.
Monkey business indeed. Washeke, you're a personal finance advisor, and I'm sure you come across many people who want to get rich quick tomorrow or yesterday. What do you know, why are human beings so keen on being rich now and not waiting to actually harvest, the fruit?
Okay, I think it's a lot to do, especially now. what I like to call the disease called instant gratification. So I can see someone who has been through a 10-year, 15-year journey. I start to look, and this is how a lot of young people are looking at successful people today.
Yes.
I look at where they live, I look at what they're driving, I look at what the clothes they're wearing, and then immediately I say, I want that. So my mind is, I don't care about the 10-year journey. I want to go quickly and listen to, if it's quail eggs that I think is gonna make money tomorrow,
Yes.
and listen to the biggest idea that I think will get me the nice car that I want to drive. So I think people have lost the respect for the process, the experience, and what that actually teaches you. Yeah.
I guess with, with television and listening to stories such as
Yes,
billionaire Vimal Shah, who makes
absolutely.
about 83,000 shillings a minute.
Absolutely,
we
absolutely.
would all want to do that. Tony,
Yes.
Yes.
how did you start?
I was lucky to have been born in a business family, so I learned business from my father. I'm one of the few guys who'd never been to a business class, but so I started off by working in my father's shop, and over time I got to understand the mechanics of business. I got to understand that wealth is created, and the creating the wealth is a process that you must be involved in, and that there are inputs that are required. There is information, there is knowledge of the product and the people that are dealing with. And so from that background, I was able to begin to get involved in the process and be able to even identify some of the things that can work and the things that cannot work.
Did you burn your fingers in the beginning?
I'm Kenyan.
Oh, so it's Kenyan to get your fingers
It's Kenyan
burned.
to get your fingers burnt. Yes, in 2008, I got involved in one of those schemes, but mine was a bit complex. It was, I was offered to go and build a barracks in Uganda.
Whoa.
And
An army barracks?
yes, army barracks, and it was business that was worth $12 million.
How much did you put in?
1.5 million. I mean, just to kickstart the process, I invested 1.5 million.
Did you lose it all?
Completely.
Washeke, what do you tell somebody like that who has lost 1.5 million shillings
Yes.
in an investment, an army barracks, for instance, in
Well,
Uganda?
I think, and I've also learned from mistakes as well, yeah? But I think, and I think you'd agree with me, first of all, when you lose, it always teaches you something. And when you get your fingers burnt, and that's the thing I think people have to understand with business, something will fail. It does not go 100% right all the time. But I think what those lessons actually teach you, invest in things you can understand. We are all not born with the same gifts, with the same skills, with the same resources. So I may look at a skill someone has. Maybe there's someone who's very good at the barrack business, yeah? I may look at him, he's making money, then I immediately go to the barrack business. Maybe my skills were never in the barrack business, but I'm a very good creative designer. That is what I should be using to actually build that. So I think this concept of where we all rush, if it's the barracks business, if it's quails, if I'm not in the quails, I'm missing out on something. If I'm not at Konza, I'm missing out on something. If I'm not in the Safaricom IPO, I'm missing out on something. It's almost like a scarcity mentality where if I'm not where the fad is, I'm missing out. Meanwhile, opportunities are passing me by that I could use things that are very genuine to me. Hobbies, a passion that I have, a skill I have, resources or networks that are just staring me in the face, but I'm not looking at them because I'm looking at what is the latest fad. Yeah.
Gord, let me rope you in, since you are in charge of giving funds to young people.
Yeah.
If a young person comes to you with such a grand idea,
Yeah.
building a barracks in Uganda, and he comes with a proposal and a business plan to the Kenya Youth Fund,
Okay.
how do you go around it?
I get to see a lot of that. But part of the business principle that I practice is triple P: perseverance, passion, and patience. The triple P. But a lot of young people walk into the office and they tell you they want 20 million. They got this business deal that they want to take. And when you ask them, how much do you have in your pocket? They tell you 50 bob. and when you ask them, do you have a bank account? They say, no, I haven't opened a bank account. So I think that fad of, I mean, this is the thing to do, overnight millionaire. I mean, it's really in Kenya. And it doesn't mean that a young person cannot work hard for 5 to 10 years and become rich. But this thing of just waking up one day, the next day you're a millionaire, it doesn't, it's not real.
Well, Sheke, what do you tell this, these people who are, either leaving jobs to go and start out their businesses or invest in the stock market? Where do you tell them to start? Because I believe that a lot of it is actually, personal financial discipline.
Yes, it is. already if someone is being indisciplined with their money, they're not going to be able to know how to manage a business money. And you see a lot of people, they may do business, they make their first million, they think $1 million is so much money, they go and buy a car. They've taken themselves to point zero. So I'd also like to I'd tell the young people, and I'd also deal with a lot of young people coming to learn about financial literacy, walk the talk first. Before you go and ask for 20 million from him, do you have one client? Have you gone through the process of starting? You have a client, you've sourced the product, you have a buyer, and understood from the consumer's point of view, what the service or good you're selling, will they buy it and why will they buy it? So a lot of people I meet don't understand why their product will work anyway. So they've not gone through the research or going, for example, let's use quails, for example. If you want to be a quail farmer, have you gone and sat with those people who started quails 7 years ago and understood?
It is 7 years ago?
Yeah, 7 years ago there were quails, yeah? 7 years ago, and understood the process for them to have built the capacity they have to make a quail project profitable.
Tony, I want to learn from your experience. You have salons,
Yes.
but you also sit on the county board where you represent young people at county level in Nairobi.
Yes.
And then you have you're a partner in a social website which has social news. How do you decide, this is where I'm going to put my money in, and what advice do you have for people who have an idea, or maybe they have 3 ideas? Is it best to start with one or start with everything at once?
Okay, just for clarity, I'm the governor for KEPSA, Kenya Private Sector Alliance for Youth. And I think people just get it wrong. The idea of going into business isn't to make money. I mean, it's one of the most painful lessons I've learned. People don't go into business to make money.
What do they
You go into business to provide solutions. When you provide for solutions, people pay for the solution that you provided. And that is one of the main things that guides me in the kind of businesses that I do. So look around you. What problems are there? And what is the solution? Can you provide it? Are you able? Do you have the resources and the rest of the things? Then the second thing that a lot of people avoid in Kenya is working with other people. Yes, you might have the idea, but probably you don't have the acumen. Probably you do not have the skill set, or you don't have the finances. So a lot of times people get into something that they actually understand, and they're able to, some that they understand, but they're not able to do because they don't have the requisite resources. So you find that partnering with other people is one of the key things that I would advise, especially when you're getting into a new venture. Make sure that even if you understand it, get someone else who will give you another view, another side of the story.
Gore, apart from being the chairman of the Kenya Youth Fund, you're also an entrepreneur in your own right. Yes. You're in the oil business, importing, distribution, you're in the transport business, among other things. How do you decide, since you're in big business, that this is a good investment for you?
I think you learn this over a period of time. You get yourself into something, you get your fingers burned. People come with new ideas, they want partnership, and sometimes it looks very good on the face of it. But when you get deep to it, you realize that you're not going to make the kind of money they're talking about. So I think you learn through experience, and also the type of people you associate with, you do business with. Mostly, I like doing business sometimes with old people. Because
because they have experience?
They have experience, they understand some issues in life, and their expectations are not too much. And they are not in a hurry to get rich quick, because mostly they've settled a little bit, and it's good to understand how business works. They are building blocks of making your business work, and there's how you begin and how you move on with it. So there's this, you must know the basics. The basics. Like, put differently, what he was trying to say is that the people that will bring solutions to problems will make more money. And you look at Bill Gates. I mean, he looked at, and every time you find every year he comes with Windows 2001, Windows 2002, Windows. Why would he have that? It's basically trying to solve a problem, and then we'll come up with a virus, an antivirus. And every year you have a new one. So it's basically trying to find a problem and get a solutions to it. And in business, sometimes it's what we call business mapping, opportunity training. When you come to a studio like this, you look at what is the problem that you can solve here, or what are the opportunities that exist here. What is it that I can do differently and provide a solution to a problem and I make money in that process. And that's what happens. Every time there's a graduation, you find people who come to take photos, people who come with flowers, and you know, they've seen a business opportunity in it. And that is what needs to be done. Where others see problem, others see solution. There was a problem in Lake Victoria, and hyacinth problem. There are people who saw that as a big problem, and they could go like, tunaomba serikali isaidie. But there are young people and women who are weaving baskets out of it. They are making chairs out of it, you see. So it is how you look at it. Is the optimism in trying to find a solution to a problem and make money in the process.
As an entrepreneur who's burnt his fingers and somebody who you know, advises young people on how to make it, how did you feel when you made your first million, and what did you do with it?
Like she said, you know, when you make your first million, you just want to buy something to remember.
What did you buy?
And I bought a car. And when you buy, you want to just feel that you feel nice, you bought a car, and then you went to square one. Because now you've just used your capital. The money you would have used to expand your business, and you put it into an asset. And you'll find most of young people do that. You buy a big radio and you're not in the business of PA, offering PA system. It's useless. And sometimes when you go to your house, maybe for 4 hours, 5 hours. So it is matters of priority. When you look at your business, what is the growth pattern? What is your business model? Because then that brings in the question of the strategy. What is it, how do you want to move from now? In the next 10 years, who do you want to be? Or how big do you want your business to be? And when you burn your fingers and move into one business to another, I also closed my taxi business. Because, you know, you realize that this is not where I'm going to get my money. And then you move on to another one. I think there's always learning experience, but I've benefited a lot from the wisdom of old people. Because when you sit to them, they've gone through a lot. They say it's a fool who wants to learn from his own experience. And so you would rather, you know, learn from old people or older people who have been into business, and they will be able to let you know what not to do. But it is okay. It is okay for you to make mistakes and learn from them. Because they say the person who invented the bulb, he knows 99 ways of not how to make a bulb. So it's also good, but don't just burn your fingers if you can have a brother or a sister to help you.
It is only a fool who listens to his own advice. We're taking a short break now. We will be back with more at the Business Center. Of course, your favorite segments. We have Tenders Corner, if you're keen on finding out what tenders are open. We have Leading Ladies. We're featuring Kenya's first manufacturer of an all-Kenyan makeup brand. Don't go too far.